What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is my review for the 2024 film, The Apprentice. So The Apprentice is a film that's about Donald Trump's rise to fame with the help of Roy Cohn, and it's a film that stars Sebastian Stan as Donald Trump, and of course, Jeremy Strong as Roy Cohn. And this is a film that I was very much so looking forward to. It's a film that, as soon as I heard about and saw who was directing it, I was like, we're in good hands. It's the same director that gave us Holy Spider, which was a 2022 film that made my list of favorite films of 2022. It is a really, really good film. It is actually currently streaming on Netflix, so if you do have a Netflix subscription, I would highly recommend you check it out as of filming this video, October 12th of 2024. It's a film that is very objective in its approach, but not only that, there's a lot of nuance in that film. So knowing that the director is into that aspect of directing, I knew we were in good hands with this film. On top of that, you have Sebastian Stan is an actor, I should say, that before the MCU, he did some indie films. Like, he did a film like Black Swan, which it's a small role, but he was really good in that. And to see him outside the MCU trying to, do some other indie stuff is really cool. I quite admire it, and I'm glad that he's doing that. Then we also have Jeremy Strong, who I've honestly been a fan of since 2012. That's right. Ever since I saw him in Lincoln, and then shortly after Zero Dark 30, and then The Big Short a couple years later, and then finally Succession, I knew he was an actor to be reckoned with. Like, he is a really, really good actor. And I have to say, this is a film that I know some people were worried about because it's coming out during an election year. And all I have to say is this. History will not remember that this film came out during an election year. And I say that because this film is very objective. This is a film that you can watch on any side of the political spectrum. You can watch this with a left-wing nut, you can watch this with a right-wing nut, or someone like myself that likes to consider themselves to be in the middle of both sides, like myself. It's a very objective approach. This is a film that has been carefully written. The writers are clearly going about this in a journalistic approach. And I'm not saying a new journalistic approach. No. An old school approach. Think Spotlight. Think All the President's Men, where it's not necessarily about hitting home a message. It's about, hey, here's the facts, take in the information, and you as a viewer come up with your own interpretation. And that's something that is why I love film as an art form, man. Like, this film does such a good job. Like, it's no secret. I'm not the biggest fan of Donald Trump. I actually don't quite like him at all. But, before we turn off the video, hear me out. Watching The Apprentice, I understand where he's coming from. Similar to Charles Foster Kane from Citizen Kane, one of my favorite films, and ironically, Donald Trump's favorite film. This is a character that you don't necessarily have to say, yes, I agree with everything that he's saying. Yes, I think that he's right. You don't have to say that. But you can, at the same time, watch the film objectively and say, I get where he's coming from. I understand why he is the way that he is. You look at someone's childhood. You look at how they were raised, and it makes sense as to why they then, were the way they were. Or also the people that they surround themselves with. Things like that are something that Citizen Kane, Charles Foster Kane, focused on, but then also in this film also. And I think that it's a brilliant approach because it really does add quite a bit of nuance to the character. And it really makes it so that way you understand where he's coming from, but it's never glorifying it, but it's also not saying like, hey, you're wrong. It's a very journalistic approach, and I really, really admire that. And I know what you're thinking. You're going to have people saying, well, it should have critiqued him, or, oh, it should have glorified him. And it's like, no. That's not the filmmaker's job. And I said it in my Letterboxd review, and I'll say it again here. This is the equivalent of watching a Scorsese film. Wolf of Wall Street, Goodfellas, Casino. Those are films that people from different sides of the spectrums look at for different reasons. You have some people that look at those films and say, wow, it's glorifying capitalism. It's amazing. Like, I love these people. They're so cool. They're doing cool things while, making money. It's so awesome. Look at their lifestyle. It's awesome. And then you see the other side of the spectrum saying, well, it's putting this individual under a microscope. Like, yeah, it's showing all these cool stuff. But then by the end, it's like, oh, this isn't necessarily good with what he was doing because here are the consequences. And it's the same thing with The Apprentice. The Apprentice is showcasing both sides. And that's why I do genuinely believe that if you actually give this film a chance, you'll see that it is very entertaining. And in some ways, it is an underdog story, which is something that you wouldn't think would work for this type of character, but it does work quite a bit. And that's thanks to not only the directing and the captivating performances, which, by the way, Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong, they are incredible. They give Oscar caliber performances, in my opinion. I could not take my eyes off them. They were really, really good. And the makeup also is quite good. I liked the nuance of it. It wasn't something that was distracting in any way. But I also loved the other filmmaking aspects, such as the cinematography. This is a film that I do believe was shot digitally, but then was made to look like it was shot on film in the first half. And then the second half, seemed like it was shot digitally, but then it was made to look like it was shot on video, which I liked because it showcased the passing of time and how by this point in time with where the film was focusing on, how, of course, shot on video was something that was becoming more prominent, especially during that time on like TV. So it was something that made sense in the context of the story. But I also like the score. I was actually listening to the score en route to work yesterday, and I can't get it out of my head. I think it's a score that works quite well. It's somber, but at the same time, it's upbeat when need be, and I think that that's something that also works quite well. The production design is good. It really does take you back to the 70s, 80s, 90s in a way that never once made me say, you know what, I don't feel like I'm in this time period. So it's a film that, if you're looking at it from a filmmaking standpoint, it's really well done. If you're looking at it from an entertainment standpoint, it's really well done. If you're looking at it as a film that's analyzing a character and saying like you're in the right or the wrong, you're not going to get that. You are getting an objective account, and that's something that I personally love. Some of my favorite films, Spotlight, All the President's Men, I mentioned that, and even Citizen Kane. Those are films that have it where you as a viewer are engaging with the material. You aren't, being fed with what you're supposed to think. And that's something that I really appreciate. And I think that The Apprentice, it's not going to do super well at the box office because at the end of the day, it is an independent film that has been ostracized for both sides, specifically the person that it's about, who, by the way, hasn't seen the film. I personally just think that this is a film that will stand the test of time. If you look at it outside of an election year, you will look at it and say to yourself, yeah, this is a very well done film. And it does have some depth to it, whilst at the same time being quite entertaining. I'm personally looking forward to rewatching it. I already want to rewatch it. I think it's a good film, and I think that if you've been sleeping on it because you think that it's a film that's either glorifying Trump or critiquing Trump, you're not going to get that in this film. So give this film a chance. Check it out in the theater. I highly recommend it. And that's why The Apprentice, for me, I'll personally be giving a... But yeah, guys, what a film. The Apprentice, it's both funny, it's both serious when need be. It's a film that is the full package. It's quite good. So I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the film, if you liked it or didn't. Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, keep the comment section civil. I know some people can, unfortunately not be civil, but let's be civil, please. I try to be professional. You can try to be the same as well. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. And if you haven't done so already, don't forget the subscription, notification bell, follow me on Letterboxd, and I will catch you guys later.